And just a minute to 9 p.m. East African time. Welcome to TV47 Weekend. To top 3 stories just for you this evening. Tonight.
But one thing I like to say is that as a Calabar woman, I never let him down. He ate my food until the last day.
Former Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha laid to rest at his Uhuru home in Siaya County.
A great giant lies before us today. Then implement what he started and let this country benefit from what he worked so hard to achieve. Less politics and more work.
Leaders eulogize him as a firm and principled leader. Also tonight.
Hata kama nimewacha siasa active, mimi bado ni mfuasi wa nani? Mfuasi wa nani?
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta breaks his silence on Jubilee Party wrangles, says he is still a member of Azimio One Kenya coalition.
Hakuna maendeleo State House. Wale ambao wanaenda kule, wanaenda kwa sababu ya tumbo yao.
This as Raila gave traitors in the coalition marching orders. Plus,
sisi hatutaki uchokoraji, tunataka kukaa vizuri na tunataka kukaa kwa amani.
3 police officers have been killed by bandits in Kapkong area, Turkana County. Good evening, welcome to the broadcast. This is TV47 Weekend. Catherine Simalo is on the sign language interpretation. My name is Stanley Nyiringite. In the next 30 minutes, I'll be updating you what is happening in the country. In the next 30 minutes, we'll be getting a one-on-one with the one and only Boutros Munene. Now, thousands of mourners thronged the Odera Kango campus at the Masano University to mourn the late former Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha. Magoha, who served as the Cabinet Secretary for Education in the previous regime, was laid to rest at a family cemetery in Nyamninia village in Gem constituency, Siaya County. He was eulogized as a dedicated public servant who had the interest of Kenyan children at heart. This story was produced by Sharon Baranga.
Around 7 a.m., mourners started trickling in at the Odera Akango campus of Maseno University in Yala, Siaya County for funeral service of the late Professor George Magoha.
Let us pray.
And it was clear that the funeral service would be one of a kind for a man who literally stood out in his service to the nation.
He always let everybody be the best version of themselves. If he ever saw you be a bit better, he would never let you go back. He would shout at you, he would tell you this, he would challenge you. If anything happened in your life, he completely switched and tried to help you come back up.
And when former Prime Minister Raila Odinga made his way to the grounds, all activities stopped as the crowd chanted and welcomed him. He went straight to the casket and performed some Luo rituals, chanting Joey, which in Luo translates to celebrating a man who was a change maker and a force to reckon within the society.
I used to call him Udwaya. And he has been somebody who is rare in his words, is very, very few words, but he does more things, and what he does has been seen. That's why I'm happy that so many people have come today here to witness his last wedding.
Raila eulogized Magoha as a transformational leader, illustrious scholar, and a dedicated public servant. And for a few minutes, the late Magoha's wife apologized to the mourners for the chaos that took place on Friday when Magoha's body arrived at his home in Uhuru.
The gates were closed, and I could understand the pain of the mourners. And I'm extremely sorry for that.
And for those who found her style of mourning her husband strange.
Some astonished that I did not wail and cry to enter the home. Sorry to let you down. My new position in the family does not give me such privilege to do public display of emotions.
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta, in attendance, also paid a glowing tribute to Magoha, praising him for his remarkable service in his cabinet.
Magoha managed to move the transition rate from primary to secondary education to 100%. Kazi ya huyu mzee ambaye amelala hapa. Making sure that no child was left without an opportunity for education. Making sure that no child ended his education in standard 8 because of lack of fees or facilities.
Magoha, who died on 24th January following a cardiac arrest, will be remembered as an academic giant who was firm and spearheaded reforms in the education sector, and one who has a genuine love for the children of Kenya. He left behind a wife and his only son at the age of 71. His body was laid to rest at a family cemetery in Nyamninia village, Umiri in Game constituency, Siaya County. Paul, Munio TV 47.
Right, and we'll be getting into the politics in Siaya County a little bit later. But first, 3 security officers from Kainuk and Lokichar police stations have been confirmed dead, with several others continue to receive treatment at a private hospital in Eldoret. According to a report from the Kainuk police station, over 300 bandits ambushed the security personnel who are on a patrol along the Kitale-Lodwar highway. Barely a day after armed bandits attacked a public service vehicle in Kakong area, Turkana County, claiming the lives of 3 people, with the residents weighing in on the attack.
Sisi tunaomba kuanzia leo hii Kindiki lazima aresign. Kwa nini? Amefail kutupatia sisi ulinzi kama wa Kenya.
Tunahitaji hiyo maneno, kama ni Wapokot, kama ni kukaa mzuri tukae na usalama, kama ni kuwa na urafiki tukae na urafiki salama. Hakuna haja waseme kwamba leo ati sisi tumekaa tunavumilia, tumekaa vizuri, lakini baadaye bado tunakuja kusubahisha kidogo, alafu wanakuja kutuchokora.
Over 300 bandits have ambushed a multi-agency security team comprising of RDU G-Koi, ASTU B-Koi, GSU R-Koi, and regular police from Kainuk and Lokichar police stations as they patrolled along the Kitale-Lodwar highway. According to a report from Kainuk police station seen by TV47, over 200 bandits started spraying bullets to the officers, who returned fire to neutralize the situation. However, the officers were attacked from behind by another group of about 100 armed bandits who had surrounded the officers from all directions in a shootout that lasted 2 hours, resulting to several fatalities as other police officers continue to receive treatment in hospital. Area leaders have condemned the attack, urging the government to step up its efforts in curbing the incessant banditry attacks in the area.
Iko shida kwa serikali. Juzi kapera huko askari wanamalizwa. Hakuna hatukusikia Pokot walikufa. Hatukusikia manyumba ya Pokot imebaniwa. Sasa hivi hapa mimi nimepoteza askari 3 ambayo serikali kuu ilituma hapa. Mimi naomba serikali kama viongozi wa Turkana, tumeomba serikali waweze kutuajiria NPR.
This comes barely weeks after Interior CS Kithure Kindiki's visit to various areas of Turkana County, where armed bandits had attacked 3 villages and burnt houses, with the tough-talking Kindiki promising to deploy more National Police reservists and GSU officers. Now tonight, President Uhuru Kenyatta has, for the first time since last year's general election, appeared in a joint public rally with Azimio Coalition party leader Raila Odinga, in a move aimed at bolstering the coalition's arsenal against President William Ruto's administration. Kenyatta's presence during the Azimio anti-government rally in Luanda, Vihiga County, saw the former president back Odinga on his onslaught against President William Ruto as Odinga rallied his support base in his quest for better governance. Apollo Kamau reports.
In what is seen as bolstering Azimio's onslaught against President William Ruto's administration, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, for the first time, attended an Azimio People's Baraza in Luanda, Vihiga County, the first since last year's general election. Kenyatta throwing his weight behind Odinga as Azimio leader, backing his bid for 2027 presidency.
Hata kama nimewacha siasa active, mimi bado ni mfuasi wa nani? Mfuasi wa nani? Sasa akiniambia twende lazima na ndipo mimi nasema mimi nilimuunga mkono wakati huo na bado nitaendelea kumuunga mkono kwa sababu mimi naamini yeye ni mtu wa ukweli, yeye ni mtu anataka kuunganisha Wakenya, yeye ni mtu anataka amani katika taifa letu, na ni demokrasia na haki yangu kusupport yule mtu mimi
Si Uhuru ameenda nyumbani? Umeona afueni? Kwa hivyo sisi tunaambia nyinyi kwamba ukombozi inakuja. Nataka nyinyi mkae gangari. Mko tayari? Mko tayari?
The Vihiga People's Baraza also served as a declaration by Kenyatta that he will be active in Azimio's politics moving forward. His presence in Azimio campaigns will inspire confidence in the outfit that has been punctured by President William Ruto by raiding Kenyatta and Odinga's former allies.
Sisi tuko pamoja na nyinyi. Mkitualika sisi sasa kazi yetu ni harambe hapa, sijui hii hapa, sijui hii kidogo hapa. Labda mkiniitia kanyama.
Odinga maintained his onslaught against coalition rebels who visited President William Ruto at State House to quit.
Hakuna maendeleo State House. Wale ambao wanaenda kule, wanaenda kwa sababu ya tumbo yao.
Azimio heads to Busia on Sunday. Apol Kamau, TV47.
Well, thank you for that, Apollo Kumau. And a day after cracks emerged within the Jubilee Party, with the faction dismissing the Secretary General, Jeremiah Kioni, and Deputy Party Leader, David Murathe, the party leader and former President Uhuru Kenyatta has stated that they are firmly in Azimio. As a political reporter, Elizabeth Mutuku reports, former President Uhuru Kenyatta has expressed his support for Raila Odinga, affirming that Azimio One Kenya coalition is here to stay.
Hours after cracks emerged and back and forth within the Jubilee Party over the party's leadership and the way forward, the party leader has broken his silence, insisting that they are in Azimio to stay. Speaking at burial of the former Education Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, Kenyatta told of naysayers, acknowledging Raila Odinga as his national leader.
My brother, my friend, my party leader, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
Immediately after the burial, the duo pitched tent at the Luanda Market, Vihiga County, where Uhuru Kenyatta categorically stated that his retirement doesn't mean severing ties with the Jubilee Party.
Lakini kustaafu sio kuchoka. Ama namna gani? Kustaafu sio nini? Hata wengine wanastaafu wazee ndio nguvu inaongezeka. Ama ni namna gani? Na mimi wakati hata kama nimewacha siasa active, mimi bado ni mfuasi wa nani? Mfuasi wa nani? Sasa akiniambia twende lazima
Cracks have seemingly emerged within the Jubilee Party following the former president's silence, who also has been missing in action in Azimio One Kenya meetings and ongoing demonstrations against the Kenya Kwanza government.
Ndipo mimi nasema mimi nilimuunga mkono wakati huo na bado nitaendelea kumuunga mkono kwa sababu mimi naamini yeye ni mtu wa ukweli, yeye ni mtu anataka kuunganisha Wakenya, yeye ni mtu anataka amani katika taifa letu, na ni demokrasia na haki yangu kusupport yule mtu mimi
Yesterday, a faction of Jubilee Party dismissed its Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni and Deputy Party Leader David Murathe, among other leaders, replacing Kioni with Iyala MP Kanini Kega.
The committee engages with the ruling coalition on the possibility of creating a working cooperation arrangement.
Fuata footstep as our party leader, because he told us that this nation is bigger than any one of us.
However, the Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni termed the alleged NEC meeting as an illegality.
Pia ni tuko nayo katika katiba, sio kuita mikutano tu bila kufuatilia ambazo tumepatiwa na katiba. La pili ni kusema ya kwamba kama wewe unafikiria unataka kwenda UDA ama unataka kutoka Azimio, wewe ondoka, nenda unakotaka kwenda, lakini sisi kama Jubilee tuko katika Azimio, tuko katika yale masuala ambayo tumekuwa tukiyazungumzia kule manzoni.
Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47.
Much appreciated for that, Elizabeth Mutuku. Now to some devolution matters. Governors will wait a little bit longer for them to receive an increase in the revenue share allocation after President William Ruto failed to give the county bosses feedback on the same. President Ruto has promised to give them a feedback in a week's time. This as the National Treasury maintains that counties will receive 385 billion Kenyan shillings for the equitable shareable revenue. Flora Lemuki with more.
Governors will have to wait a little bit longer for them to know if counties' equitable share revenue will be increased to 425 billion shillings. This is after they failed to agree on the amount after holding a consultative meeting with President William Ruto.
Shall we look into the national government's proposed 2023-2024 budget and programs within the next 1 week with a view to identifying areas of duplication to allow transfer of those attendant resources to counties.
We must agree that we must, all of us, work together towards raising revenues in our country.
The Council of Governors has also resolved to settle cases involving the national government and county government outside the courts. Hence, all pending cases will be withdrawn as they seek alternative means to deal with them, including anchoring the Council of Governors into the law.
That all the existing intergovernmental legal cases by one level of government against the other level of government shall be subjected to alternative dispute resolution as provided for under the Intergovernmental Relations Act 2012 through IGRTC.
Governors drawn from Azimio and Kenya Kwanza have underscored the need for deeper cooperation between the devolved units and the national government to ensure meaningful development.
As far as I'm concerned, party loyalties never change, and mine has not changed. And even the Azimio or ODM governors who are here, their positions have never changed. We want the Constitution of Kenya to work so that you do not end up with a situation where it is not possible for the national government to interact or to engage your county.
After 3 days of deliberations between President William Ruto and governors drawn from the 47 counties, a decision has not yet been reached concerning the equitable share revenue of the counties, even as President William Ruto promises to give a decision in a week's time. Flora Limuki, TV47, Naivasha, Nakuru County.
Thank you, Flora, for that. West Pokot, Turkana and Elgeyo Marakwet counties have for the longest time been scenes of crimes, especially banditry attacks and cattle rustling. Several schools along the Kerio Valley are still closed due to the runaway insecurity in the area, with leaders and elders converging to cleanse the area to ward off bad spirits. This story was produced by Andrew Juma.
Kerio Valley residents continue to live in fear following the incessant banditry attacks in the area. Tens of families have lost their sons and daughters to the bandits, with tensions high in the area because residents do not know when the criminals will strike again and if at all they will survive.
Sitaki mambo ya bunduki kulia, sitaki hata kulia, machozi nateremuka. Kama nalia machozi nateremuka. Kama serikali najua, chukueni sitaki tena vinduku vile iko. Kwa sababu wakati wase natembeanga, anachapanga na pimbo lakini hawezi kuumiza zaidi kama hii kitoli. Sasa hii vitoli nimekataa, sisi nimekataa kama Mbokot sisi nimekataa, wa mama amekataa, sisi nimesema chukueni vitu yenu.
Ni nani president gani ambaye tutaenda lilia mpaka tupatiwe KVR bwana? Sasa tumeenda sasa kusema hivi sisi wa Pokot tunaambia Mungu saidia sisi. Saidia kabisa.
And rituals are the order of the day here. At least 2 word of wandering spirits, they say. Today, the governor is leading a cleansing ritual in Takwel area along the West Pokot and Turkana counties border. This is the area where 200 herds of cattle were shot dead. After the cleansing, there is a feast. The elders believe the bad blood has been washed away. Area leaders, including chiefs and members of parliament, called on the government to intervene to ensure a lasting peace in the region.
Wale watu wanataka kuleta shida ni maaskari. Mimi nataka kusema hivi. Those who actually walihusika, wale wahusika, maaskari wale wahusika ambao walifanya kitendo hiyo. I'm appealing to the CS Interior, that is Professor Kindiki Kithure, that all those who did this heinous act must be brought to book.
Kulingana na uchunguzi wangu ni kwamba lazima kulikuwa na contact. Hakuna askari aliye na akili timamu anaweza chukua bunduki kwanza kupiga ng'ombe.
All right, and that particular story produced by Andrew Juma will be giving you that a little bit later on. Now, there was drama in Kiamanyeko village, Mbeere South, Embu County, after a section of angry residents stopped the burial ceremony of 2 brothers who died earlier this month, saying the funeral will not proceed until justice is served for the brothers. Elizabeth Atieno now reports.
It all began as a usual burial ceremony at 10 a.m. Saturday morning in Kiamanyeki village, Mwea East Sub-County. Mourners glued on their seats as they prepare for what they thought would be a peaceful send-off for 2 brothers, Joseph Nungo and Kennedy Gitau, allegedly murdered on the 5th of February. But the ceremony took an ugly turn after a group of angry residents stormed the funeral and carried the coffins to Uhuru police station, saying the 2 will not be buried until their killers are arrested.
Vijana waliuawa na mtu anajulikana hapa. Vijana waliuawa, chifu hajashikwa. Mwenye alifanya hiyo kitu nasikia kuna petrol station huko. Anaitwa Ben. Hajashikwa. Kitu kingine mpaka governor, mpaka senator hapa, mpaka MCA wote hakuna mtu amewahi kufanya kitu. Tunaomba hii mili irudishwe, ikirudishwa kwanza DCI wakujia watu.
Sasa wakazi ndio wamesema mchana ya kwamba mazishi itasimama mpaka haki itendeke.
The residents were not welcomed at the police station as police lobbied tear gas canisters to disperse the crowd, who were forced to leave the 2 caskets at the gate of the police station.
Hatujaona kiongozi yoyote katika idara ya usalama mwenye amesimama hapa kuambia watu uchunguzi umefika wapi ama umefika wapi. Imekuwa ni kawaida kwamba watu kutoka sehemu hii wakivuka pande ile nyingine ya Mbeere wanaenda wanawawa na wengine wamepigwa wamelazwa hospitalini.
Ili tuwe na justice, watu waende walale, tutakuja kuwazika. Vijana wamesema watagharamia gharama zote za mazishi, hawataki kujali. Na sisi kama viongozi na wachungaji tumesema tumekubali, hatuna njia ingine ila tu kuwafuata na kusema justice lazima ipatikane.
According to residents, the 2 brothers were killed and lynched when they went to rescue their cousin in Mbeere South, who was allegedly ambushed by armed men after a party organized by the late brothers.
Wajue vijana kwanza, kwa nini wao watu wanachoma watu? Wanachoma watu nusu, kwa nini wachoma watu? Justice for Ken and Togo!
Senator Kamau Morango is currently in a meeting to address the issue, and it is alleged that he is calling for the transfer of all security officers in the county, including the county commissioner, who has failed to tame the situation. Elizabeth Atieno, TV 47.
Oh, thank you for that, Elizabeth. Now to the wonderful world of sports. Kabra's Rugby Football Club earlier today continued the fine form as they completed a 47-6 drubbing of varsity side Strathmore Leos in the National Rugby Sevens League Kenya Cup tie at the Kakamega Showground. Strathmore started the match on a strong foot and took an early lead through a penalty. However, Eugene Sifuna managed to slice through Strathmore's defense to touchdown Kabra's first try that was then converted by Ntabeni Dukisa. Strathmore Leos won another penalty to take the scores to 6 before Dan Angwech scored a try as Dukisa converted it to restore Kabra's lead, while John Kubu also scored a try for the Sugar Millers in the victory. Also, Nakuru RFC edged Masinda Muliro with scores of 27-23. Mean Machine thrashed Mwamba 22-18, while Kenya Harlequin thrashed Kenyatta University's Black Blood 36-6.
For us, especially in the first half, was going away. Our set pieces were working, our scrums were working, the system we decided to play was working. But I think Kabras has a very good depth. They are very experienced players, and that in turn gave them the boost. Not that anything didn't work for us, but the experience now took part of the game, and the big boys came into the party. The likes of Nyambua, Scooter, Dukisa, and Kubu. They came into the party, and now the boys couldn't match the experience because you can't buy experience. We continue building. One day we'll get there. But as I said earlier, today I'll bank on the performance rather than the outcome. The performance was exceptional. These are students. A few are still rookies and gotten their first play against the champions, which is not an easy thing. So yes, we'll continue building, and the next time we meet, probably the results will be different.
Now to some volleyball action. Kenya Prisons earlier today put in a spirited fight to secure a scintillating comeback as they defeated their forces counterparts, Kenya Defence Forces, in sets of 3-1 in the Kenya Volleyball Federation's Men's League at the Nyayo National Stadium Indoor Gymnasium. Kenya Prisons entered the match coming off a straight sets defeat at the hands of General Service Unit, and their confidence was further depleted when KDF took a 25-22 lead in the first set of the match. Prisons head coach Lungaho, however, substituted Emmanuel Mwandori for Kevin Mayo as their gameplay improved to win the second set with scores of 25-18. The Warders dominated the match from the second set and won the third set with scores of 25-15 before sealing the victory in the fourth set with a 25-16 win.
Things are not working for me. In terms of my attack, is not working. But I've also lost volleyball players. It's a difficult task to recruit, build and lose. So I've lost 3 crucial players. The captain is away on some duty, and 2 others. One of them being Chelule, who was now hitting me hard from the other end. The other one is my main player who is out there in the pro. So it's tough, but we'll catch up.
Last year nilicheza mbaya kwa sababu ya libero, but this time nilienda nikakaa chini